Well, evening, morning, afternoon, global population, something to show you. Right, it's been a long time coming. I think I should preface this with an apology. I don't know if any of you remember one of the subjects of the first ever episode of the first series of this Epic Explosion, maybe Alien Tech series. I talked about the discovery in Crimea of a pyramid that was found underground. Well, it turns out there isn't one. I was a bit wrong on that. Yeah, it appears there's actually 38. After that bombshell, many of you are probably sat there a bit aghast, wondering, what do you mean 38? 38? How was he getting? Well, for a long while I said that there was an ancient empire in that Black Sea region. And it appears now that mainstream archaeology is beginning to start to catch up with that. I've also consistently said that they were a very highly technologically advanced civilization, simply by some of the sites that are around that whole area. Well, of course you needed a capital city, which I said my firm belief is that Tripalia, which was the discovery made just outside of Mariupol, next to Azovstal, in fact underneath Azovstal, was very likely the capital of that empire. I still hold myself to that. But as with most capital cities, it obviously isn't just held to that one area. And just like Tripalia, these pyramids in Crimea are underground also, likely being covered by nature, essentially, over time. I mean, these things are at the very least 8,000 years old, like, well, they were buried 8,000 years ago. You alright, mate?
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, not so bad. Now, these pyramids are a complex, make up a pyramid complex in Crimea, in fact across Crimea. The pyramid that was the one that we talked about in that very first episode is just one in the middle of four in a rhombus formation. Rhombus being like a diamond shape, off-kilter diamond shape, so to speak. But that rhombus formation with that one in the middle is in itself part of another complex, and that makes up one point in that rhombus shape of three other points as well, to make up a larger rhombus shape, each with their own four, with one in the middle. Inside that is a smaller rhombus with another huge one in the middle of that, and then a formation going down in a crescent shape into the Black Sea. This thing is huge, absolutely massive, and it's a testament to the level of technology and the level of understanding that this ancient civilization had. Now, many are loath to admit it, but these were the errata. There's only really Yuri Shilov that has also stated this, that they were the errata. Well, I say only Yuri Shilov. Ukrainians have a errata museum, or had an errata museum. I'm not sure of the state of it these days, considering the war there and everything else, but they had an errata museum in Mariupol. And as I've stated countless times before, this entire empire stretched out all the way around that Black Sea area. They found jetties about 20-30 miles off the Crimean coast, dated to around 8,000 years ago, when they were last above water. Now people, they claim that the Bronze Age jetties, I mean, of course they're going to do that because it fits in with their paradigm, but we build wooden jetties, yeah? So who's to say that these weren't just jetties built by a far more advanced civilization? And in fact, the evidence for that keeps on growing. There's the footage of those structures that I found near to the Crimean coast on Google Earth, which you've probably seen in the background now, that are very suspicious. There's the ruins off the Romanian and Bulgarian coast, deep underwater, that are old settlements. There's all of the underground sites, underground complexes, again in Bulgaria, Romania, in Ukraine. There's the structure in Kabardino and Balkaria. There's more and more sites in Georgia that are being discovered all the time. Armenia, Turkey. Essentially, we're seeing evidence for a massive, very likely industrialised civilization, because it was a mining operation. That I'm absolutely sure of now. And they were mining lapis lazuli, which is an extremely pure form of quartz. And it wasn't for decorative purposes. This was on a huge strip mining kind of scale. And I believe that whoever caused the flood that filled up the Black Sea basin likely did it intentionally to hide something. Well, that's all well and good, I hear you say. Well, have you got anything else apart from the odd thing here and there in Crimea? Well, yeah. You see, like I said, there's all that around the Black Sea basin, but then there's other sites in Crimea as well. There's the Royal Kurgan that we've touched on before. That's very interesting. supposedly a tomb, except it looks nothing like a tomb. In fact, it looks very much like Giza, like in the way that it's got a truncated roof. But then there's more, because there's places in Jordan. There's a place in Jordan that has exactly the same stonework. A place in Lebanon that has exactly the same stonework. Slightly bigger scale, but still. In fact, at the bottom of Mount Hermon, there's also another site. Jerash, I think it is. It's called. Oh no. The Nimrod's Palace, yeah. That's got the same stonework as well as the Kurgan, Royal Kurgan. There's also a quarry that's been found in the past. Thinking only in the last couple of years has this quarry been found, and it's got very obviously man-made cut stone. It's inside it, but cut with, well, there's the thing. You see, in order to get the thinness of the cut and the straightness on a lot of these blocks, you need some sort of either water jet, laser cutting tool, sonic cutting tool maybe. The circular saw would be really too thin, but even so, there are areas of that look like they've been done by a circular saw as well, as you'll see here.
Within what at first appears to be a naturally formed cliff face, is soon revealed to be an entirely artificially worked rock face. Within the narrow openings is revealed quarried caverns of significant size, once excavated long ago within our past, yet displaying tool marks unquestionably left by advanced technology. Modern quarries, for example, would incorporate giant circular saws attached to machines to liberate stones of this scale, leaving similar scars within the rock. How an ancient civilization undertook these feats is a complete mystery. However, the grooves left within these scars rapidly change depth from inch to inch, as if the cut was made by an energy beam. They are also incredibly thin in some areas, something we only can achieve with water jets or laser beams. It does, however, reveal where the stone possibly came from to create the ancient structures also throughout Crimea, which also escape current explanation. These tool marks can not only be found within Crimea, they have now been identified the world over: the basalt floor of Giza, the many unfinished obelisks, the ruins of India, all display this incredible ability to manipulate and shape rock. We feel the evidence for at least one advanced civilization still lost within our past is now overwhelming. Who cut these incredible quarries? How did they cut this stone from the bedrock? What tools did they use? Is this proof that there was advanced technology long ago here on Earth?
Thank you to Mystery History there for that little report that they did. There is a ton of evidence now, and it's mounting, that there was a technological, very highly technologically advanced, very ancient civilization in that area, and it was the Errata. I don't care what people like Matthew Lacroix or Jason Brashears or even Billy Carson says that the Giroth were the Errata. No, they weren't. They weren't contemporary to the Sumerians. They weren't. And Gilgamesh tells you himself. He tells you when across several mountain ranges and across a sea of death. Where's the Sea of Death between Iraq and Iran? There isn't one. He also says he went north, and that the Errata were ancient before he even got there, and long gone. The city was in ruins. So, we know that it was there now. We know the Errata were there. We know it was Inanna that was the queen of that area. So now they're established. So where does that lead us then next? Well, this is where the fun starts. In between last series and this series, there's been a few new developments in the English Channel. Going back to Doggerland again. Oh yes, we are. This is why.
Divers from oil companies located within the North Sea have been discovering the remains of a drowned ancient city, which once spanned from the UK all the way to Denmark. An ancient city so massive its suspected population has been estimated well into the tens of thousands. A team of climatologists, archaeologists, and geophysicists have now successfully mapped the area, which has revealed just how vast and expansive this once lost land once was. Many specialists are now claiming this was once the real heartland of Europe. This enormous civilization is now believed to have dated back to some 8,000 years ago, and that the landmass was submerged over a period of several thousand years, a submersion which began some 20,000 years prior. Dr. Richard Bates of the Department of Earth Sciences at St. Andrews, who organized the Drowned Landscapes exhibit covering the finds within the UK, says the data reveals the human story behind Doggerland, a now submerged city of the North Sea that was once larger than many modern European countries. Could these discoveries reveal Doggerland as the real lost city of Atlantis? Several hypotheses have placed the sunken island of Atlantis within modern northern Europe. Most noted among such researchers is Olaus Rudbeck, who suspected that Doggerland, as well as a Viking Bergen island, which is thought to have been flooded by a mega tsunami following the Storegga slide in 6100 BC, is the real location of Atlantis, a proposition he put forward all the way back in the 1600s. Some have proposed the Celtic Shelf as a possible location, and that there is certainly links to Ireland. Many places have been put forward for the possible location of the sunken city throughout the years, yet none have revealed ruins worthy of such claims, many of these areas being too small to have housed such an enormous city. Doggerland, however, fits the bill. Not only could it turn out to be the largest ancient civilization found on Earth, but it also rests in a possible location based on historical research for the city of Atlantis. It was submerged at one point in its history, and it is revealing astonishing ruins of a once great and presently unknown civilization. Dr. Bates, a geophysicist, said Doggerland was the real heartland of Europe until sea levels rose to give us the UK coastline of today. We have speculated for years on the lost land's existence, from bones dredged by fishermen all over the North Sea, but it's only since working with oil companies in the last few years that we've been able to recreate what this lost land looked like. When the data was first being processed, I thought it unlikely to give us any useful information. However, as more area was covered, it revealed a vast and complex landscape. We have now been able to model its flora and fauna, build up a picture of the ancient people that lived there, and begin to understand some of the dramatic events that subsequently changed the land, including the sea rising and a devastating tsunami. The research project is a collaboration between St. Andrews and the universities of Aberdeen, Birmingham, Dundee, and Wales Trinity St. David. I will keep you posted on...
Again, sit. Good boy. Stay. It's alright. It's alright, mister. There's a good boy. Good dog. Good dog. Good boy. Good lad. Normally he spins round like a lunatic. He's done really well today. Get some treats when we get home, won't you? Anyway, again, thanks to Mystery History for that. I'd love to know how to get hold of you, by the way, Mr. Mystery History person. That's a tongue twister in itself. But I'd love to know how to get hold of you, because even if it's just off camera, you know what I mean. I'd like a discussion, just to compare notes, as it were. Even if it's over Skype, and like I said, I won't record it. It'll just be between me and you, just to see how we can help each other, because I really do think we could. Anyway, so yeah, they found a city off the coast of Scotland. A city. Now do you understand why we need to go back to Doggerland? Why we need to take another look? I bet you all thought it was done when we did Ireland and that, didn't you? Oh no. When I said in last series that those episodes were introductions, that's exactly what they were. We've got a lot to get through because I know where the Doggerlandians came from now. But we need to talk about Doggerland and Scandinavian cultures first, as well as Errata, before we can move to Hyperborea. Anyway, thanks for watching. But like I said, this journey's just beginning. Like, share, subscribe, you know the drill. I'll see you later.
They're pilings deep beneath today's sea surface at depths much deeper than the harbors of a similar age in the Aegean Sea or the Mediterranean Sea. This has been a puzzle.
It is very hard to speak about submerged ruins here at the shore of Crimea, first of all because of a huge block fault which should destroy most of the ancient shoreline. And most of settlements we know now at the shoreline, which are submerged, belong to 4th century BC only. So the ancient Sumerian sites should be on the much bigger depth. And if I would be an archaeologist, I would study the Herodotus description of the area and follow the beds and river deltas, because during the raising of the water in the sea, people had to step back, move back by the river deltas, and most of modern towns and ancient cities are at the river mouths, so the most ancient ones that are submerged now should be at the ancient river.